How did one oops video turn into me getting served papers in a busy office lobby while people stared? Why did my husband stay calm, say almost nothing, and still make the legal result hit the same day? I thought I could explain it away, but the papers treated it like a pattern, not a mistake. My name is Alma Winemiller, and I used to think I was a good wife because I did the visible things. I packed lunches. I paid bills on time. I remembered birthdays. I said thank you in front of people. I thought that was the real work. The quiet parts did not count to me. The quiet parts felt like empty space, and I hated empty space. Ethan was my husband. He was calm in a way that made me feel small. He did not shout. He did not slam doors. He asked questions like he was trying to solve a puzzle. That is what he did at work, too. He fixed problems by looking at facts. I did not like facts when they made me look bad. That morning started like any other. The kitchen light was too bright. Maya sat at the table with her cereal and made little towers with the spoon. Liam was in his high chair and threw a piece of banana on the floor like it was a serious decision. Ethan rinsed a cup and put it in the rack with slow care. He asked why I kept turning my phone face down. I said I was tired of notifications and I wanted peace. He asked if something was wrong. I said nothing was wrong, and I asked why he always assumed I was hiding something. I made my voice sharp so he would step back. He looked at me for a second and then looked away. That annoyed me more than if he had argued. I wanted him to chase the truth. I wanted him to act jealous. I wanted proof that I still mattered. I had a habit of telling myself stories. I told myself Ethan did not notice me. I told myself he had turned me into a roommate. I told myself I deserved attention because I worked hard and carried the mental load. Those stories felt clean. They kept me from looking at my own choices. I was already late. I moved fast, not because I was busy, but because speed makes you feel important. I grabbed my bag. Ethan asked if I could do pickup after work. I said yes, even though I did not plan to. I said it in the same tone I used for everything, like a manager giving a quick promise. Maya asked if I would come to her school thing on Friday. I said of course, and I kissed the top of her head. It was a real kiss, but I also liked how it looked. Ethan watched me and did not comment. On the way out, I checked my phone again. A name popped up. Noah. I told myself that name was harmless because it was only on a screen. I told myself I was not doing anything that bad because there were no big scenes. That is how I made it okay. Noah was not part of my home life. That was the point. He was light. He was easy. He made me feel wanted without asking for anything that looked like responsibility. When he wrote, he did not ask if the kids ate breakfast. He did not ask if I paid the insurance. He asked if I missed him. I told myself that question was love. Ethan got into the car with the kids for drop-off. I followed in my own car because it was faster for work. In the school line, Ethan asked if we could talk later, just the two of us. I said yes, and I kept my eyes forward. I was already building my defense in my mind. After drop-off, I sat in my car for a minute. The windows were foggy at the edges. My hands were cold, but my chest felt hot. I saw a message from Noah asking for something playful because his day was boring. I smiled like I was being chosen. I recorded a short video. It was not graphic. It was just me being flirty, acting like I was someone with no baggage. I said things in a teasing way. I tilted my head. I sent the kind of look I used to give Ethan when we were dating. I did not think about how shameful that was. I thought it was smart. I thought it was mine. I meant to send it directly to Noah. I was moving too fast. My thumb hit the wrong button. I posted it to my main page, my real page, the one with family photos and birthday posts, the one where my co-workers followed me, the one where Ethan's cousin liked my holiday pictures. For 1 second, I did not understand what I had done. Then I saw the little public icon. I felt my stomach drop like a stone. I deleted it quickly. I told myself it was gone. I told myself the internet was slow and no one would notice in time. My phone buzzed right away. It buzzed again, then again. The screen filled with alerts like a storm. I drove, but I barely saw the road. I kept glancing down. That was dangerous, but I was not thinking about danger. I was thinking about control. At a red light, Ethan's name showed up. I answered. He did not yell. He asked what the video was and why my face looked like that in it. I said it was a joke draft for a work campaign, and I clicked the wrong thing. I said people were so dramatic and bored. I asked why he was acting like I committed a crime. He paused, like he was choosing words carefully. He asked why a work draft would go to my main page and not to my team chat. I said he was overthinking it, and he always tried to catch me in something. I said he did not trust me because he had issues. I knew that line would push the weight onto him. He asked if there was someone else. I said no, and I said it fast. I added that he was being paranoid. I told him I could not deal with this before work. I told him to calm down for the kids' sake. That was my best trick. If I used the kids, I sounded responsible. He said okay in a flat voice. He said we would talk later. Then he hung up. That scared me more than a fight. If he fought, I could say he was unstable. If he begged, I could feel powerful. But his silence felt like a door closing. When I got to my office parking lot, I sat there and refreshed my feed. The video was gone, but messages kept coming. Some were from friends asking if I was okay. Some were from coworkers with awkward sympathy. One was from Kara, with laughing emojis and a line about me finally living. I liked that one. It made me feel brave instead of reckless. Then, I saw a message preview from a name I did not expect. It was someone from Ethan's side. It said they were sorry and they hoped he was okay. I stared at it until my eyes burned. In that moment, I did not think I should apologize. I did not think I hurt my husband. I thought people are turning on me. I thought Ethan will use this to make me look bad. I thought I need to speak first. I walked into the building with my chin up, like confidence could erase timestamps. My hands were shaking, but I told myself it was anger, not fear. I told myself I was still the one in charge. By the time I reached my desk, the story had already grown legs. I could feel it in the way people looked up and then looked away. It was not normal curiosity. It was that careful stare people use when they think they are seeing the real you for the first time. I sat down and opened my email like I was calm. I told myself the video was a glitch, not a confession. I told myself I deleted it fast, so it should not count. That was my favorite kind of math. If I erased it, I was not responsible. Kara messaged me again. She asked if I was okay, and if Ethan was being crazy. I said Ethan was upset and he always made small things big. I said he loved control more than love. I did not write the word affair. I kept it soft and vague on purpose. A coworker walked by and asked if I needed anything. I said I was fine, and people were blowing things up. I smiled and added that it was embarrassing to have private content slip out. I said it in a way that made it sound like the problem was the internet, not me. My manager, Dante, sent me a short message and asked me to come talk for a minute. I felt annoyed, like I was being punished for being interesting. I told myself it was unfair. Men did worse and still got promotions. That was another story I used to stay steady. In Dante's office, he kept his voice low. He said there was chatter online and someone had emailed a screenshot to the general inbox. He asked if I was safe at home. I almost laughed. I said yes, and I said my husband could be cold, not dangerous. I said the real danger was gossip. I watched Dante's face to see what he believed. He asked what happened. I said it was a silly mistake, and I posted a draft by accident. I said it was for a playful campaign idea, and I panicked and deleted it. I said people were twisting it into something gross. I did not say Noah's name. I did not say I filmed it in my car. I kept the lie simple. Dante said HR might want to check in because the company did not like public drama tied to staff. I said I understood. and I added that I hoped my private marriage issues would not affect my job. I said that line like I was mature. Inside, I was thinking about who would see me as a victim. When I left his office, my phone buzzed again. It was a message from Brielle, my sister. She asked what I did and why Mum was calling her in a panic. I said it was one stupid post and Ethan was acting like I destroyed the family. I asked if she could talk Mom down. Brielle replied that I needed to stop and think. I did not like her tone. It felt like judgment. At my desk, I tried to work. My cursor moved, but my brain stayed on my notifications. A co-worker in the next row whispered my name to another person. I pretended not to hear. I told myself their whispers meant I mattered. That is a sick kind of comfort, but it is still comfort. Around lunch, I went to the break room. 2 people were there. Their conversation paused when I entered. One of them asked if I was okay, in a voice that was too gentle. I said I was fine, and I was tired of people acting like they never made mistakes. I said my husband was very sensitive, and I made a small sad face. They nodded. I liked that. One of them asked if Ethan had seen it. I said yes, and I said he saw it right away because he watched me like a hawk. I said he was always checking my phone and asking questions. That was not true, but it sounded true if you said it with confidence. I told myself I was only adding context. My phone lit up with Ethan's name again. I stepped into the hallway to answer. He asked if we could meet after work and talk without the kids. I said I had meetings late. He asked if I could at least come home at a normal time. I said I would try. He asked if there was someone else. I said no, and I said he needed to stop accusing me because it made me feel unsafe emotionally. I used that phrase because it sounded serious. He was quiet for a beat. Then he asked me to stop posting anything about him online. I said I had not posted about him, which was a lie. I said he was imagining things. I said he was trying to control my voice. He said okay again, in the same flat way, and he ended the call. I stared at my phone after. I wanted him to send a long, angry paragraph. I wanted proof I was right to be defensive, but there was nothing. His silence felt like he was building something behind a closed door. I checked my social apps. People had saved the video. Some were laughing. Some were shocked. One message said, "Girl, live your life." Another said, "Your poor husband." I clicked on the supportive ones and ignored the rest. I wrote a story post. I kept it vague, but pointed. I wrote that it was hard being married to someone who saw you but did not choose you. I added a line about loneliness. I did not mention that I had chosen someone else first. I posted it and watched the views climb. Each view felt like a small shield around me. Noah messaged me, finally. He asked what I was doing and why my page was on fire. I said it was handled, and he should not panic. He asked if anyone saw his face or his name. I said no, and I told him he was being dramatic. He said he did not want problems. I said he should have thought about that before he wanted me. I made it his fault, because if it was his fault, it was not mine. Later, HR emailed me and asked me to step into a small room for a quick conversation. The HR woman spoke in a careful voice. She said they were not judging my personal life, but they needed to make sure no one was being harassed at work. She asked if I felt safe. I said yes, and I said the only harassment was people spreading my private mistake. She asked if my husband worked in the same field or had access to company systems. I said he worked in tech, but he would never do anything. I said he was not that kind of man. I said that like praise, but I also meant it like a warning to myself. Ethan was lawful. Ethan was methodical. Ethan was not messy. That kind of person could be dangerous in a different way. When I got back to my desk, my hands were steady, but my stomach was tight. I texted Mom and told her people were exaggerating, and Ethan was making me look like a villain. Mom replied that I needed to protect myself and not let Ethan frame me. That word made me feel justified. Frame. Like I was being set up. In the afternoon, Dante walked past and asked if I could keep my focus. I said yes, and I smiled like everything was normal. I clicked through spreadsheets and wrote emails with a polite tone, but under the screen, my life was cracking. Right before I left work, I saw a new message request from someone I did not know. It was a short line saying they had sent the video to Ethan because he deserved to know. My face went hot. I wanted to scream, but I swallowed it. On the drive home, I rehearsed what I would say. I would say it was an accident. I would say it was nothing. I would say Ethan was overreacting. I would say he had pushed me away. I would say I was still a good mother. I would say anything as long as I did not have to say the simple truth. I chose this risk because I liked how it felt. I got home later than I promised. I told myself it was because of work, not because I needed time to build my story. The house felt quiet in a sharp way, like the air was waiting. Ethan was in the kitchen with the kids. Maya was drawing at the table. Liam had a cup with a lid and kept tapping it like a drum. Ethan asked if I could sit and talk. I said I needed a shower first. He asked if my day was hard. I said yes, and I added that it was hard because people judged women for everything. He asked again, very calmly, what the video was. I said it was a mistake, and he was turning it into a crisis. I asked why he could not just trust me for once. He looked tired, but he did not raise his voice. He asked if there was a person behind it. I said no, and I said it like he was insulting me. I asked why he wanted to ruin our family over something that was already deleted. He said it was not only about the post, it was about what it showed. I said he was being dramatic and cold, like always. Maya glanced up and asked why we were talking like that. Ethan told her we were fine. I told her Daddy was just stressed. I hated myself for using that, but I also liked how it placed the blame on him. Maya nodded and went back to drawing, but her shoulders stayed tight. Ethan asked if we could keep it quiet around the kids. I said yes, and then I whispered that he was the one making it tense. He did not answer. He just wiped the counter, slow and steady, like he was trying to keep his hands busy. I went upstairs and shut the bathroom door. I stared at my face in the mirror. My eyes looked bright, not with tears, but with anger. I told myself I was being punished for being human. I told myself Ethan was the kind of man who wanted a perfect wife, but never wanted to do the work to keep her happy. That thought felt warm, like a blanket. It covered the truth. When I came back down, Ethan had moved a few things. The kids' backpacks were lined up. The calendar on the wall had a new note in neat writing. Meeting personal. I noticed it and felt a quick sting. Ethan did not usually write things like that where I could see. I told myself it was therapy or some weird work thing. I told myself it did not matter. Still, I kept looking at it. My phone buzzed. Kara asked if I wanted to go out. She said I needed a drink and a real laugh. I knew what she really meant. She meant I needed a stage. I told Ethan I was meeting Kara for an hour because I needed air. He asked if tonight was the best time. I said yes, because I was not going to sit at home and be interrogated. I said he did not get to lock me in a corner just because he felt insecure. He asked if we could talk after I got back. I said we would see. He did not stop me. He did not beg. He did not accuse me in front of the kids. That calm made me feel like I was losing. If he stayed lawful and quiet, then my usual tricks would not work. At the rooftop bar, the music was loud enough to hide fear. The lights made everyone look smooth and confident. Kara hugged me and said I was glowing. I laughed and said I was finally choosing myself. I leaned into her words because they made my choices sound like a brave journey, not a selfish mess. A few more friends came. They asked what happened. I said Ethan saw a silly post and acted like I cheated. I said he was always suspicious and controlling. I said he did not touch me unless it suited him, and then he blamed me for wanting to feel wanted. I used soft words, but I shaped them like knives. Kara asked if Ethan was blowing up my phone. I said no, and I rolled my eyes like it was proof he did not care. Someone said he sounded boring. I laughed too fast and said he was a good father, but not a good partner. I told them I had carried the relationship for years. I said I did not get appreciation, only rules. One of the girls asked if the video was with another man. I said no, and I said people were inventing things. I did not say Noah's name. I made a face like I was insulted. Then I added that even if it was, it would not be random. I said women did not just wake up and destroy their lives for fun. I said men created the conditions and then acted shocked. Everyone nodded like I was teaching them something deep. A woman at the next table glanced over. I realized she recognized me. That gave me a sick kind of thrill. I sat straighter. I wanted the room to see me as the main character, not the villain. Then my phone buzzed with Noah again. He asked what I was doing and why his friend had sent him a screenshot from my page. He asked if my husband knew. I said Ethan was overreacting and it would pass. Noah said he did not want drama, and he had work clients who followed him. I told him to relax and stop acting scared. He said I was the one who posted it. I told him it was an accident and he should be grateful I deleted it fast. He said, accidents still have effects. I did not like hearing that. While I was still annoyed, I noticed someone in Kara's group holding up a phone. They were recording, pretending it was casual. Kara asked me to tell the story again because it was wild. I did. I made Ethan sound worse. I said he watched me like a guard. I said he used concern as a way to control. I said he wanted me small because he felt small. That last line made people laugh in a bitter way. I told myself it was fair. I told myself Ethan deserved embarrassment because he embarrassed me by reacting at all. That is how twisted my logic was. If someone caught me, I claimed they were the cruel one for noticing. Around midnight, I saw Ethan's name on my screen. I felt a quick spike of panic, but I also felt a strange hope. I wanted him to be angry. I wanted him to plead. I answered with a bright voice like I was innocent. He asked where I was. I said I was with Kara. He asked if I could come home soon, because Maya was asking for me. I said Maya was fine, and he could handle bedtime. He asked if I had been drinking. I said no, even though I had. He asked me again to stop speaking about him online or in public. I said I had not spoken about him, and I said he was making things up. I told him he was trying to silence me because he could not handle being criticized. He did not argue. He said he needed the car seat from my car because he would take the kids tomorrow morning. I said he could wait. He said he would come get it now, so the morning would be simple. I said fine, and I told Kara he was being dramatic. 15 minutes later, Ethan walked into the rooftop area. He did not look wild. He did not storm in. He did not point at me. He asked politely where the seat was. I pointed toward my car keys, like I was doing him a favor. Kara made a face and whispered that he was doing this to control me. I nodded, because agreeing with her felt like armor. Ethan did not react to the whispers. He went with me to the elevator area, still in public view. He asked if I was okay. I said I was great, and he was the one acting weird. He said we would talk tomorrow, and he hoped I would come home safely. I said he was being fake. He did not answer. He just took the car seat, thanked me, and left. When he walked away, my stomach sank. It was not because I missed him. It was because he did not play his role. He did not give me the rage I needed to show others. He did not give me the tears I could mock. He acted like a man who was taking notes in his head. Back at the table, I laughed louder than before. I said he came like a delivery man, not a husband. People laughed with me, but it sounded thinner now. I checked my phone again and saw a small notification I had missed earlier. It was a quiet beep from a recording app. I did not remember turning it on, but I also did not turn it off. I told myself it did not matter. I drank water and told myself I was winning the story. Still, on the drive home later, the calm look on Ethan's face stayed in my mind like a closed door I could not push open. The next morning, I acted like nothing happened. I moved through the house with fast hands and a smooth face. I packed Maya's snack. I wiped Liam's mouth. I told myself that proved I was still a good mother. I did not look at Ethan's eyes for too long, because his quiet made me feel exposed. He asked if we could talk before work. I said mornings were not the time for heavy talks, and I said he always picked the worst moments. He said he only wanted clarity. I said clarity was a trap word. I said he was trying to force a confession out of me so he could punish me. He did not answer that. He just told Maya to put on her coat. In the car, Maya was too quiet. She usually told stories about school, about who sat where, about who had new shoes. That day, she only watched the window. Ethan asked if she was okay. She said she was fine. I hated how small her voice sounded. At the school pickup line later, the air felt full of eyes. I was not sure if it was real or if I was imagining it, but it felt real. I kept my phone in my hand anyway. I liked having it there. It made me feel like I controlled the picture, even when I did not. Ethan was already in the line when I arrived. He stood by the curb with Liam on his hip. Liam held Ethan's hoodie string like it was a rope to safety. Ethan asked if I could stop filming around the kids. I said I was not filming. I was checking messages. He said it still looked like filming. I said he was paranoid again, and I asked why he wanted to make me look like a bad mom in public. A parent nearby glanced over. I felt heat climb up my neck. I smiled at the parent like we were all friends. Then I told Ethan, in a lower voice, that he loved scenes. That was unfair. Ethan hated scenes. I loved scenes, because scenes gave me excuses. When Maya came out, she went to Ethan first. She hugged him tight, and then came to me like she remembered she should. I told myself it was because he had been filling her head. I told myself he was using her to hurt me. It was easier than admitting she felt safer with him right now. On the drive home, Maya asked if my friend was coming to dinner again. My hands tightened on the wheel. Ethan looked in the rearview mirror. I told Maya she was confused and she must have heard something at school. Ethan asked what she meant by friend. I said kids made up stories. I said it was not fair to question me based on a child's random words. Maya went quiet again. Her silence felt like a small judgment. That night, Liam cried more than usual. He woke up twice and called for Ethan. When I went in, he did not reach for me right away. He kept his arms close and turned his face into his blanket. I told myself he was just tired. I told myself toddlers did that. Still, I stood in the dark and felt like a stranger in my own hallway. A few days later, we sat in a pediatric clinic waiting area. The chairs were hard and the lights were white and flat. Liam had been clingy, and Ethan said we should check in, just to be safe. I wanted to say it was nothing, but I went because refusing would make me look guilty. The nurse asked about sleep and stress. Ethan said Liam woke up more and got upset when plans changed. I said it was normal and kids were dramatic. The nurse asked if there were changes at home. I said no, and I laughed like it was silly. Ethan did not laugh. He kept his hands folded and listened. After the visit in the parking lot, Ethan asked if we could agree to keep routines stable for the kids. I said routines did not fix emotional neglect. I said if he had loved me properly, the kids would not feel tension. I put the whole weight on him, like I always did. He said he was not talking about blame. He was talking about steps. I told him steps were cold. He said stability was not cold, it was care. That word, care, made me angry. I wanted to own care. I wanted to be the one people thanked. If he took that role, then what was I? That weekend, we went to his parents' house for dinner. I acted like I was brave for showing up. I wore a nice sweater and smiled at the door. Janice, my mother-in-law, hugged the kids and then looked at me with a careful face. Graham nodded and asked how work was. I answered with polite words. I could tell they had already heard something. At the table, Janice asked me directly what the video was. She said she did not want gossip. She wanted truth. I said it was an accident and people had ugly minds. I said Ethan was embarrassed and took it out on me. Ethan stared at his plate for a moment, then looked up and said he would not discuss it in front of the children. Janice asked if the children were not already living it. Ethan said they were, and that was why he would keep it calm. I told Janice that Ethan had been distant for years, and he refused to talk about feelings unless it was on his schedule. I said he treated me like a problem to manage. Janice asked if that justified what I posted. I said it was not what she thought. I said everyone was twisting it because they loved tearing women down. Brielle was there too, sitting stiff. She asked me, softly, if I could stop saying everyone and just say what happened. I glared at her. I told her she did not understand marriage. Ethan's phone buzzed once. He glanced at it and set it face down. I noticed the screen had a reminder with a place name and a time, something like downtown 10:40 a.m. He did not mention it. He kept cutting Maya's food into small pieces, like it was the only thing that mattered. After dinner, Maya asked Ethan if we were still a family. Ethan said we were her parents and we loved her. Maya asked if I was mad at Daddy. I said Daddy was mad at me for no reason. Ethan did not correct me. He just said Maya should brush her teeth. Back home, I could not sleep. I went downstairs for water and heard a low hum, like a machine. It stopped when I stepped closer. In the small office corner, I smelled faint toner, like a printer had been used. A blank page sat in the tray, clean and warm at the edge. Ethan's desk looked tidier than usual. There were folders stacked with simple labels, like household and bank. I told myself it was his way of being dramatic. I told myself he was trying to scare me. Then I saw his keys on the counter. There was a new key on the ring, shiny and unfamiliar. My throat tightened. I did not ask about it. I told myself asking would make me look worried. I went back upstairs and lay beside Ethan, who slept facing away from me, with a careful distance that felt like a line drawn on the bed. I told myself he was the one abandoning me, even while I held my own secrets like weapons under my skin. I tried to pretend I was still the center of the house, but the house stopped moving around me. Ethan changed without announcing it. He did not threaten me. He did not shout. He did not slam anything. He just became careful, like a person walking on ice. The first thing I noticed was the silence in his phone. Before, he would answer my calls fast, even when he was busy, because he liked solving problems quickly. Now he let it ring, then replied by text with short lines about the kids. If I wrote about feelings, he did not reply. If I wrote about pickup time, he replied in minutes. I told myself he was doing it to punish me. I told myself he enjoyed watching me worry. That story made me feel like I was still important. The other story, the real one, was that he was stepping back on purpose. I did not want to admit that. On Monday morning, I stood on the stairwell landing and waited for him to pass. I wanted a private moment where I could push him into a reaction. When he came up with a laundry basket, I asked if he was going to keep acting like a stranger. He said he would talk later when the kids were not around. I asked if he was avoiding me, because he knew he was wrong. He said he was avoiding conflict, not truth. I said conflict was the only way to fix things. He said it was not. I followed him into the bedroom doorway and told him he was cold. He asked what I wanted from him. I said I wanted him to fight for us. He said he would not fight in front of the kids, and he would not fight online. I said that sounded like an excuse. He asked me to step back so he could put the laundry away. I did not step back right away. I watched his face, waiting for anger. He did not give it to me. That made me feel powerless, so I tried another angle. I said he was acting like a robot because he did not care. He said he cared enough to keep it calm. I said calm was just another word for control. He said no, calm was a choice. I hated that he made it sound simple. At work, my reputation felt thin. People still smiled at me, but the smiles were shorter. Cara tried to lift me back up. She told me I should post more and show confidence. She said if I looked guilty, people would treat me guilty. I liked that logic because it let me focus on image, not on harm. So I posted again. Not a direct attack, but a soft one. I wrote about being punished with silence and raised by a man who thinks feelings are weakness. I did not name Ethan, but everyone knew. I told myself it was my truth. I told myself I was protecting myself. That afternoon, I went to the supermarket after work. Maya wanted fruit snacks, and I wanted to look normal in public. At the checkout, my card declined. It was not dramatic, but the beep felt loud. The cashier asked if I had another method. I laughed like it was a silly glitch and tapped again. It declined again. My cheeks burned. A woman behind me shifted her weight and looked at her watch. I felt judged in a way that made my stomach twist. I used a different card and it worked, but the damage was done. I walked out with the bags and sat in my car, shaking. I called Ethan right away. He did not answer. I texted him and asked what he did. He replied later and said he had organized the accounts and set limits because he wanted predictable spending for the household. He added that necessities would be covered, and the kids' needs came first. He wrote it like a note from a careful person, not like a threat. I wrote back that he was financially abusing me. I used that phrase because it sounded strong. He replied that he was not stopping me from working or accessing essentials, and he would keep records for clarity. The words, keep records, made my throat go tight. I told myself he was being dramatic. Still, I stared at that line longer than I wanted to. At home, I tried to force a bigger talk. I waited until the kids were watching a show, and then stood in front of Ethan in the kitchen. I asked if he was trying to trap me. He asked what I meant by trap. I said he was making me look unstable by refusing to engage. He said he was not refusing to engage. He was refusing to argue. I said he was the reason I felt lonely. I said he never made me feel desired. I said he treated me like an obligation. He asked if I wanted to discuss counseling or separation. I said I wanted him to admit he was wrong. He said he could admit mistakes, but he would not accept blame for choices I made. I told him he was judging me. He said he was setting boundaries. When he said boundaries, I laughed like it was a trendy word. I told him boundaries were for people who did not know how to love. He said love without limits becomes chaos. I told him I did not create chaos. He looked at me for a moment, then looked down at Liam's toy cars on the floor, as if the toys mattered more than my speech. That night, Noah finally called. His voice was low and tense. He said I needed to stop posting because people were connecting dots. He said someone had messaged him asking if he was the man in the video. I said it was not his face and he was being paranoid. He said my husband might be collecting things. I asked why he would say that. He said Ethan's calm was not normal. I felt a sharp anger at Noah, like he had promised me fun, and now he wanted to run. I told him he knew what he was doing when he flirted with a married woman. He said I was the one who posted it. I said it was an accident, and accidents should be forgiven. He said forgiveness was not a switch. I asked if he was leaving me. He said he could not be part of this anymore. He said he had work and a name to protect. I told him he was selfish. He said he did not want to destroy a family. I almost laughed at that because the family was already cracked, and he did not care until the crack showed his own face. After the call, I walked past the small office corner in the hallway. The door was not fully closed. I heard a soft click, like a drawer being locked. I paused, listening. Then I heard a faint notification sound, like a cloud upload. It was small, but it made my skin prickle. I stepped closer and saw Ethan's laptop open on a spreadsheet, but the screen went dark as I approached. He came out with a mug in his hand and asked if I needed something. I said no, I was just getting water. He nodded and walked away. In the guest room, he had started sleeping more often. I told people it was because he was dramatic. I told my mother it was emotional abuse, because he was withholding affection. Mom said I should not let him play the victim. Kara said I should show strength. Brielle told me, tiredly, that I was making it worse. I told Brielle she always took the safe side. The next morning, Maya asked why Daddy slept in the other room. I told her Daddy needed space, because he was stressed. Ethan, from the doorway, asked me not to speak about adult issues like that. I said I was only explaining because he refused to. He said he would explain in a child-safe way later. I said he always wanted control over the message. That evening, I tried one last time to bait him. I stood by the kitchen counter and said I could find someone who actually wanted me. I said it in a casual voice like it was a joke. Ethan looked at me with a calm face, and it scared me because it was not empty. It was decided. He asked if I was finished. I asked what that meant. He said he would handle the next steps properly. I went to work the next day like I could outrun the timeline. I wore a clean blouse and put my hair up tight. I told myself that if I looked normal, the world would treat me normal. My phone was quiet, in the wrong way. Ethan only sent one message about drop-off time. He did not write anything about us. He did not ask where I was. He did not ask who I was with. That should have felt like freedom, but it felt like a door locking. In the parking garage, I checked my social page again. My last post had fewer likes. Kara had not commented. Mom had sent a long voice note about standing strong, but I did not play it. I did not want more opinions. I wanted one person to react the way I expected. When I walked into the office tower lobby, I saw Ethan near the window seats. He stood with his hands at his sides. He was dressed like he had a meeting. He did not look messy. He did not look angry. He looked prepared, which made my stomach turn. I stopped and asked why he was there. He said he needed to handle something properly and in a public place. I told him he was being dramatic. He did not answer that. He asked if I could stay calm. I said I was always calm, and he was the one who caused scenes. He looked past me, like he was watching for someone. A man in a plain jacket walked toward us. He held a folder. He asked if I was Alma Winemiller. I said yes, and my voice cracked a little. He asked me to confirm my address. I said it, annoyed, like he was wasting my time. He said he had legal documents for me and he needed to note the time and place. My heart started to pound. I looked at Ethan and asked what he was doing. Ethan said he was doing what he said he would do. The man held out the envelope. I did not want to take it, but he waited with a neutral face. People walked by on their way to coffee. A security guard glanced over. The lobby felt too open. I took the envelope. It was heavier than paper should feel. I told the man this was harassment, and it was cruel to do it here. The man said he was only serving documents and he could not give advice. Then he stepped back and wrote something on a small pad. He nodded once and walked away. I stared at the envelope. My hand shook. Ethan asked if I would read it somewhere private. I said he did not get to tell me what to do. I ripped it open right there, because I wanted to show I was not afraid. The first page had words that made my vision blur. It said the marriage was being dissolved. It said there were temporary orders. It said the schedule for the children started now. It said communication should go through a parenting app. It said I needed to move out by a date that was soon. It said I could take personal items at set times, with notice. It said funds were being protected and tracked. The phrase, effective today, sat on the page like a stamp on my forehead. I looked up and told Ethan he was trying to ruin me. I said he was punishing the kids to punish me. Ethan said he was protecting the kids from chaos. I said I was not chaos. Ethan said he would not argue, and he asked me to follow the process. I told him the video was an accident and he knew it. I said I deleted it. I said I was still a good mother. Ethan said the filing was not about one moment. He said it was about a pattern and about stability. I asked what pattern. He said he had kept records and he had been advised to do it properly. He did not say more than that. I tried to step closer, like closeness could change the outcome. I said we could talk at home. Ethan said there would be no private fights, and he would only speak about the children in writing. I asked if he even had a heart. He said he did, and that was why he chose calm. 2 co-workers walked through the lobby and slowed when they saw my face. I felt their eyes. I hated Ethan for not looking ashamed. I hated the paper for being so clean and certain. Ethan told me the kids would be picked up at the usual time, and the schedule was in the documents. He asked me not to contact his family in anger. He said if I needed to ask something, I should use the app and keep it short. I told him he was acting like a stranger. He said he was acting like a parent. Then he turned and walked toward the doors without rushing. The security guard watched him pass. I stood there with the envelope open, reading the same lines again and again, and the words, "effective today," stayed on the page like a hard wall I could not talk my way through.